Recording in progress.
All right. Okay, so we're gonna jump into this. Michelle may have to depart early, so we're gonna try to keep this to our hour, if not shorter than an hour. We do have a note taker. Thank you, Catherine, for volunteering. As always, we will be sharing the slides, the recording notes on the website this afternoon, if not first thing tomorrow. A lot of the content from today is going to be a lot of the same information, but just some updates to that information of things that we're working on at the state level. You'll see some common themes, especially as we are getting closer to the annual meeting. This is our last president's meeting in this format with just presidents and advisors meeting with just us. The next presidents and advisors meeting is going to be the in-person event at the annual meeting on October 24th, 11 to 2 o'clock. There are a few of you that have reached out. Sorry, y'all. There's a few of you that have reached out about the virtual login for that meeting, or the option to have that meeting virtually streamed. I'm going to set that up. I am 98% sure that we can do that. I'm still verifying those details with the hotel, but it would probably be from 12 to 2, not 11 to 2. You don't want to watch us eat for the first hour virtually. So as soon as I have those details finalized, that includes getting the AV setup verified by the hotel. We'll send that that meeting link out to our chapter presidents and advisors across the state. And then the last two official presidents meetings of the year fall in line with TMN Tuesday. And so those are joint TMN Tuesday and chapter presidents meetings. We'll have more information on the content of those, but just know that those are going to look and function a little bit differently than this more intimate setting that we have with you guys this month. All right, so we're going to jump right into it with our 2024 planning. And Hannah, I rearranged one of the slides just a little bit, so you're up first now.
I was like, wait a second. Okay, as y'all probably saw, we have finally launched our chapter templates and resources page, and there already has been an update made to it. If some of you notice, we now have some PowerPoint templates on there as well, but this is a resource where y'all can go in and get some Canva templates as well as some other resources and download them and use them for your chapter. An email went out. It is a password protected page. An email went out with that password. If you need it again, email me and let me know. But new templates will be added periodically. And if you have any suggestions, feel free to email them to me. We're in all things annual meeting right now, so any updates to that won't happen until post annual meeting, but feel free to go ahead and get those requests or needs into me as you see fit. I'm dropping that link in to the chat as well. And this is just a reminder about the logo and chapter mark usage. So just a reminder that the TMN logo is trademarked, and so you need to submit it to me specifically to have it approved to be used on merchandise, brochures, etc. And also just a reminder that chapter logos are prohibited, but chapter marks are allowed. And those are just the examples of the approved chapter marks down there. So if you have one where maybe you have the old drawing of the dragonfly, need that updated, or your chapter name isn't on there correctly, email me again and let me know, and I can get you an updated one of that.
I rearranged this because it felt like it flowed here better, Michelle, but this was the reminder that you had added.
So we'll probably continue to keep having these reminders, and if you could help get these reminders to your membership as well. And so those include that the Texas Master Naturalist title, your chapter name, and your program and chapter membership should never be used in connection with advocacy of any kind or be used to help invoke policy. The Master Naturalist title and certification should never be used for personal gain nor profit. It should only be used in connection with your volunteer service on approved projects of the program. And as Hannah just mentioned, the logo and title are trademarked. just a reminder to seek state office approval when adding them to chapter t-shirts, merchandise, and flyers. Or if you're thinking of altering or having different styles or anything with t-shirts and t-shirt designs, just remember that those need to be approved through our state office, primarily Hannah. And our primary purpose there is to make sure that the logo is represented in the fashion that it is trademarked and not altered or distorted in any way that dilutes our program identity and marketing. Another item is public comment should only be made as a private citizen. Your Texas Master Naturalist title should never be associated with your public comments, either official or unofficial. And then all of this is covered in our chapter documents, and the link is shared there at the bottom. So if you have any questions at all, please let us know.
Yeah, and then real quick to go back to the chapter marks, we also have a form on that chapter resource page where you can go in and request the chapter mark option you'd like, or just the normal TMN logo, and what formats, what colors, things of that nature that you need, and it'll automatically send the form to me, and then I'll send that back to you. So that's a more streamlined way to get those chapter marks into me. And now we can go back to the other slide. I just forgot to mention that earlier. Again, for the training class survey, if you have additional speakers that you'd like to add to the speaker master list, feel free to keep sending those to me and I'll update it as they come in. And for the new member training class survey, we'll have a presentation on that at the annual meeting, and we'll also do a remote presentation at a later date. So just keep an eye out for that. And we are also gearing up for the 2025 new training class information. That webpage is already live. The form is already live. So if you want to go in and add your 2025 spring training, you can go and fill out the form there. I'll add the link to the chat for that as well. And you can also see it's a button on the home page right now as well, so it's easy to find. But you can go in there and add your information for your training class, and we'll get that added to that web page. And then finally, these are the ones who have already filled out the form and already on the webpage for their spring 2025 training. So if you want to see a little star on your counties, go ahead and use that link and fill out that form.
And then Hannah, you're going to drop that link in the form in the chat as well, so that folks have an easy way to update their 2025 class information, or you can always email that to Hannah so that she can get that added to the website. This is the same slide. There are no updates on our curriculum work, but as y'all are aware, we are in the process of updating our TMN curriculum for our second edition. This is a multi-year process. I want to say that every month for the next couple of months, as long as it takes for us to put this together. It's a big, hefty book, and it's taking us a while to get through it, make sure that we have the best information represented for you, and in the best format for readability for our users and so on. But as always, as you're engaging with your new training classes, and inevitably if they find that one typo that we missed, there's more than one typo. But if they find that error, an update that's needed, we still have that error survey on our website and on this page here, so that y'all can encourage them to submit that. That just helps us to collect all of that and cross-check our updates and make sure that we're catching all of those things that you guys are helping us to find in our curriculum. Some more updates. This is the same slide that y'all have seen the last couple of months as well, but as you're engaging into your fall classes, thinking about your recertification pins, milestone pins, don't forget there is that split with the certification certificates, and then all hours under 2,500 are on our AgriLife Learn account, our AgriLife Learn store. You have to have an entitled account to view those. They are not available for public order. So you have to use your chapter designated account that was set up earlier this year to order those. So if you have new training class directors coming in, I've seen a few of these emails pass through my inbox. New training class directors are saying, hey, I don't know where pins are. How can I see those? We don't want to create a new account. We want to use that same chapter account for ordering on the AgriLife Learn store. So give them that access to be able to order those pins from the AgriLife Learn store. We don't want to create entitled accounts for all 30 of your chapter leaders. We want to just create one per chapter for that filter. And then all pins that are 4,000 plus will go through our website ordering form. Those go to Michelle directly to review and then ship those out. Because we are all going to see each other here shortly, she's going to save on shipping and will hold all the pins that are ordered, I think from last month all the way until October, and hand those out at the meeting. Is that right?
So, and I will, and then anyone who we had a couple of, or a big group of people on the Presidential Volunteer Service Awards. Those were out of stock for quite some time. They just recently came back in stock. And so I received the order of everybody that was on back stock. I have looked, I've gone through the list and I've looked, if a person who had a PVSA award that was on back order, and they're coming to the annual meeting, I am going to hold that for the annual meeting and present it to them there. Everyone else's will prepare to send or hand to you at the president's meeting at the annual meeting.
Okay. And then this is the screenshot of what the AgriLife Learn order site looks like. Again, you have to be logged in to be able to search for those Master Naturalist pins. And the initial certification pins and certificates are both within the same item. So this top left corner, you click on that and you can select either option of the certificates or the pins there. All right, rolling into TMN Tuesdays. Michelle, you want to tell us what we have coming up next month?
So exciting month next month, not only with the annual meeting, but all of the things surrounding our annual meeting. And one of those is our Texas Master Naturalist Exemplary Project Fair competition. We have 5 projects that will be presented on October 8th as part of that TMN Tuesday. Galveston Bay Area chapter, our Hays County chapter, the Bluestem chapter, East Texas chapter, North Texas. They're all presenting on a wide variety of exciting projects going on. I want to say thank you to all those chapters that did submit a project into the project fair this year. I'm excited to see your presentations and learn more about your project. And at the annual meeting, we'll be announcing the winners of the Exemplary Project Award. And so just keep you in suspense a little bit longer. So all of the presentations will be recorded on the 8th, just as we record any of our TMN Tuesdays. And award winners will be presented at Sunday at the annual meeting. So thank you again to everyone that submitted projects. And be sure to register for the upcoming October 8th TMN Tuesday event.
Yeah, and then while we're talking about some new projects and showcasing some upcoming state initiatives like our TMN Tuesday programs that we've been rolling out, a little sneak preview that I'm hoping you guys are going to get excited about, but stay tuned to learn more information. We are developing a partnership with HEB for pollinators for Texas. I'm not going to give away too much information, but we're going to be sharing a lot more about our partnership with them and this pollinator program in mid-October. So please be on the watch for the Pollinators for Texas project launch that will be launching, I believe, October 13th, that we'll be sending this out. So just kind of wetting your whistle just a little bit to get you excited about this new project that we're working on. Okay, but the big project that we're still focused on right now is the annual meeting. So a lot of updates with the annual meeting as we are T minus 30 days. Today is 30 days today to the annual meeting. We will see you in exactly 1 month. As you're planning your fall classes, please make sure that that you're giving your trainees the information about the conference. And as you're planning your 2025 classes, please consider keeping the weekends in October clear. We are at this point in our timeline here. Registration is closing early next week. On September 30th, we will have our registration close. So please make sure that you are registered. You have all of your members are notified, they're registered. And if they haven't registered yet, there's not a whole lot of space left. So this is new to y'all. Y'all have not seen this slide yet, but this is the numbers. I did a little bit of a deep dive on the annual meeting by the numbers for today's presentation. We have 630 total registrants. Actually, it was 631 this morning. I pulled these numbers yesterday. We had 130 registrants in the first hour. We've never had that many register in 1 hour before. We had 382 registrants by the end of the first day. So we opened registration at noon, and by midnight that night, we had 382 registrants. So that's only 12 hours, really. In the first 12 hours, I should have said. We have 43 chapters attending. 43 out of the 49 chapters is 88% of our state represented by attendees. We have 143 classroom sessions, 34 field sessions, which is the most number of field sessions that we've ever had at a conference before. We have 216 speakers from a huge variety of different organizations, agencies, state, federal, local level, and even master naturalists themselves presenting as speakers. We have currently 29 sponsors and 20 vendors. I'm really excited to get to show y'all the vendor list for this year's conference. We've got some really great artists and organizations that are going to be there. We have 480 plus photo art and media contest entries. It's not an exact number because we're still working through all of those to make sure that we have the entries, some of the duplicate entries caught up in there. But that is the most number of photo art and media entries that we've ever had before. We had 6 video entries, which is also one of the higher number of video entries for that contest this year. 5 project fair entries, as you've heard already, and then 3 advisor entries for our advisor award. So lots of opportunity for more recognition in future years. Y'all keep that in mind when we get to the 2025 conference. As always, our agenda is on our website. This is available through multiple formats. It will be also available in the app. If you are a registered attendee, you've been invited to join the app as well. And so that is another way that you can check in and see your attendance. You can also use your app to download your sessions directly to your calendar. So if that helps you to keep your sessions organized, there is a function on the app to be able to add them to your calendar, set up reminders, and all of that on your app as well. Again, not much of an update on this here. I did catch an error this morning, but I didn't fix it. I forgot. Our president's luncheon, our president's meeting starts at 11, not 11:30. So we've put it in 2 different times. I apologize. Officially on the official agenda, on the app, everything else online, it's 11. Just this one slide, I missed updating it. So please make sure that you're there at 11 to get food, but we probably won't start the content until closer to noon. Please make sure that you are registered for that event or your chapter designee. If you have not selected that option, please make sure that you go back and modify your agenda so that you have selected the chapter leadership luncheon, either as a chapter president or chapter advisors. It is open for both presidents and advisors. Again, I mentioned some of the agenda highlights earlier with our 34 field sessions, 182 classroom sessions, but we also have some great keynotes, our dinner event at the Meadows, our awards dinner and quiz bowl. It's going to be a jam-packed 4 days. We have one presentation that we've pulled out and we want to encourage you guys to add to your agenda if you haven't already. That is our Friends of TMN presentation. This is the developing Friends of group for the Master Naturalist program at the state level. It's the 501c3 that's developing to help alleviate financial and logistical concerns. They are doing a presentation, an informational at 2 o'clock following the president's meeting in the same room that we're going to be in. So you can just stick around and listen for that presentation. Michelle, did you want to add anything else on that one?
No, you got covered. Thanks.
Okay. I'm going to keep rolling unless you guys stop me. And then Meadow Center, I've had a couple of questions about this welcome reception. I promise y'all we are getting more information out to you. Master Naturalists love details and you'll want them now, but I want to make sure that we have our event totally set up and ready for you before I give all of the details so we don't have to update and re-verify anything. So there will be, if you are registered, if your members are registered for the conference, there will be more information about the Meadow Center reception coming to their email inbox within the next 2 weeks to give them 2 weeks of planning time before the conference. We're still about 30 days out. One of the biggest questions that I've gotten is about transportation. We are providing buses for this event. We're shuttle busing folks from the Embassy Suites to the Meadow Center, and that bus will continuously run back and forth starting at about 4 o'clock and ending at about 10 o'clock at night. Parking is extremely limited. If you look at the Meadow Center on a Google map, you will see their parking lot, I think it only has like 20 or 30 spots. For a group of 600 of us, that's extremely limiting. So please help me encourage your members to ride the bus for that event. It is just going to save the hassle, save that logistics of trying to find a parking spot. Plus those parking spots, because it's oriented with the Texas State University system or campus, they are paid spots. There's a QR code. There's a QR code. There is a kiosk. There's a whole process to getting your parking ticket there. So not a ticket, but getting your parking permit there. This is for Thursday. Yes, sir. Do I have that wrong somewhere? No. Thursday night, Jean, for the Meadow Center welcome reception. We will have more information about that event in your inboxes as registrants here shortly. Field sessions, again, nothing new here. The question that I'm getting now beyond wait lists is when will I get more information? I will not be sending out information until next week. I have on my calendar to send out field session emails to all field session registrants next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, kind of mid next week after registration closes on Sunday, Monday next week, so that everything is all closed up. So if you've got folks that are asking, well, what do I wear and where do I go and who do I contact about my field session? Because they're asking me, I'm sure they're asking you as well. Ask for just a little bit more patience. An email is coming to their inbox within the next week. Still rolling down the annual meeting list here. Lodging is currently full. If you have not made your room reservation, I encourage you to check out some of the hotels in proximity to the Embassy Suites. I know there's a La Quinta across the road, a Holiday Inn up the road. There's 2 or 3 just up and down the feeder road there on I-35. And then we are in this registration block right now for, oh yes, and Tina, lots of Airbnbs as well. We are in this registration block right here with standard registration closing on September 30th. So some of our energy is now shifting into helping to enhance some of the events at the conference. And a huge shout out to the Hayes County chapter for helping to host the silent auction this year. So they are gathering items right now for the silent auction. This is a great way to do some Christmas shopping for your fellow naturalists at the silent auction. As part of that, we're requesting if you've got some master naturalist items that you think others might enjoy, a collection of books, a collection of artwork, some resource guides, whatever it may be that you think some other master naturalists might enjoy. I encourage you to consider sending them into the silent auction or donating them. If you let the silent auction team know by emailing them or turning in this bid sheet, all of that's on the website link that Hannah just dropped. You'll be entered into a chance to win a $100 shopping voucher at the silent auction itself. Again, you can use that to buy some Christmas presents for others or for yourself if you want to. A great way to encourage y'all to get some of those bid sheets in early, let them know, but also do some of that shopping as well. And then as you're packing your car for the conference, as always, keep in mind that Michelle and I always end up with all kinds of extra gear, extra resources.
We do clean our offices.
Stuff. We do. It only happens once a year, getting ready for the annual meeting. But we always have all these extra resources that we want to make sure y'all have access to, and that are getting used to their fullest extent. So that's what this swap shop will be for this year. So if you've got extra stuff and you need to put it in the swap shop, let us know. Otherwise, we'll have a swap shop table. So make sure that you are saving room in your car for that. All right, just a few more slides on the annual meeting. I promise. Sponsorships, we're still seeking sponsorships, helps us to put on a great meeting. Thank you to everybody who has already donated or sponsored the conference. We really appreciate all of the support from those chapters and those organizations who have come out to show appreciation for the conference and provided ways for us to be able to share additional resources. We've kept this slide on the PowerPoint from last meeting as well. But again, these are some of the deadlines before the annual meeting, with September 29th and 30th being the two big ones. Michelle will talk about the milestones, the memorials, and the photo show here in just a second. I've already mentioned that all registration closes September 30th. And then the curriculum book order I'll mention here in just a second, but that's October 12th. This slide is out of order. This was the one that I wanted to catch and I didn't. So, as mentioned, the curriculum book order, if you are hosting a fall training class or a spring training class, or you have a need for bulk ordering your curriculums, you can do that now with A&M Press. The order form is on our website. They're going to close this order on October 12th so that they have time to collect all the books and pack them up. So please make sure that you turn in those forms by October 12th and designate who will be picking them up at the meeting. That's on their form as well. Pop-up store. So we did host a pop-up store over the last couple of weeks with some TMN gear, annual meeting shirts, some t-shirts, jackets, polos. That closed on September 14th, 15th, September 14th or 15th. And those are in process of being printed right now. They should ship by the end of this week, early next week, and then be in your mailboxes by October 11th is what I'm being told. We did end up with a few extra of the annual meeting shirts. So if you were not able to order your annual meeting shirt through the pop-up store, we will have a very limited amount of sizes and colors of annual meeting shirts at the conference this year. So please consider getting there early so that if you're interested in those. All right, and Michelle, I think the next couple are yours.
Yep. So just a reminder that we do recognize, so anybody who is attending the annual meeting, registered for the annual meeting, um, we do recognize if they have crossed a milestone in the past year. So from the time of last year's annual meeting to the beginning of or the end of September, if a member has reached a certain milestone, a recognized milestone in our program, and they are attending the annual meeting, we will recognize them at the annual meeting. Um, so if you could help prepare your VMS coordinators at your local chapter level, we will be taking, we did our first run at the end of August, and then we will be checking milestones again at the end of September 30th, and helping us to produce those reports for the awards ceremony, so that we can get everything printed on time and to the printers. So just make sure that those are updated. I do go through, and people who are close, by the time I put together the presentation and the awards brochure and everything program, I do go through and check people who are close to certain milestones, and just as a double check to make sure that we can get them on. So just keep in mind that the place where we pull the information comes from VMS, and it's that TMN recognition user defined tab, and where you see the milestones there, that's kind of shown. A visual is shown on the right of the slide there. That's where we pull the information and verify the information for members reaching certain milestones. And so just another thing too, it has to be on approved hours. So the check won't, the totals won't match up if the hours haven't yet been approved. So for VMS admins at the local chapter level, just trying to approve those hours close to that September 30th deadline would be a big help to this process.
And Michelle, there was a comment in the chat that the previous slide said September 29th. So it looks like you've given them an extra day. So she'll pull the report on September 30th. So y'all have an extra day now.
Yeah. Okay, another item that we're doing, actually there's two different things. So the annual meeting chapter photo show, this is kind of the PowerPoint video type presentation that Donna Cole has historically put together for the program. We're just asking each chapter to send a top end amount of 10 photos. So no more than 10 photos of your chapter, representing things that you've done over the past year, showing your chapter having fun, maybe celebrating a milestone, maybe depicting a new project that you initiated. So this will all be put together and shown during different events where everybody's all together at the annual meeting. And then we have a deadline of September 29th for those to get those 10 photos in. And so a message was sent to chapter presidents and historians if they were indicated as such in VMS. And then if your chapter doesn't have a historian, we just ask the presidents to delegate that to the best person, best fitting person that kind of manages that role in your chapter at your chapter level. Okay, and then the next one. And then last thing that we're looking for by September 29th is any memorials, people you'd like to honor through a memorial slide that we'll put together within that same presentation. Send that stuff to myself and Donna again. Name and one picture of the person if you have a picture. So pictures aren't required, but at least the name of someone who may have passed away from your chapter membership in the past year that you'd like to honor through this memorial. Okay.
And then just rounding out our annual meeting, our communication tool this year, it will be again the Slack tool. There's some great Slack tutorials on YouTube. Hannah just dropped the link for those in the chat. But this is a great discussion board tool. I think a few of our chapters use Slack. I know a few of them use Slack very successfully. But this is our event-based Slack communication tool for discussions just on the annual meeting. So if you are registered for the conference, you have access to this Slack channel. All right, rounding out today's annual meeting, our chapter resources. As always, our website is the kitchen sink for all things Master Naturalist. We have resources here for you as chapter leaders. Hannah's mentioned a few of those throughout the presentation today. We have things for your members. Michelle's mentioned those. Information about the conference, everything is dropped in here on the annual meeting on the website. So please make sure that your members are checking that out. As you are recruiting new members into your training class, one of the reminders that I want to encourage you to have on the first day of orientation for your new trainees is how to join the email listserv. The email listserv that we have at the state level is our primary function of sending out communication about state level events, TMN Tuesdays, annual meeting registration, updates to state level resource guides, things like that. The email listserv is our main tool for that. So please encourage your new trainees to have their email signed up for the email listserv. Other quick links, as always, is our VMS help desk, logging your hours, and so on. Speaking of the website, our AgriLife tech team is going to once again host their monthly TMN Tech Tuesday on the first Tuesday of the month. This will be October 1st at noon. It's 30 to 45 minutes of a WordPress tutorial. They usually showcase one or two skills and then have some open time for Q&A for specific issues. Please invite your webmasters to attend these, or those folks that you think might be interested in helping to host your WordPress website. Okay, Michelle, some updates?
Yep, really there's not a lot of updates on the VMS update. Things are still in the same status, I guess, as they were last when we visited with you last month. So let's go to the next slide, if you will. Again, we have not been given dates of when the update and changeover would happen. Really, there's not a whole lot more. This is the exact same slide I showed last month. There's not a whole lot more that has changed. There actually hasn't been anything that has changed. So the updates here are the same, again, for this month. If you could go to the next slide. Let's see, I thought I updated one of these slides. There was, oh, there it is. There was a VMS newsletter that went out this week to all VMS admins. It's pretty much the same. It told a little bit about a new filter that we as an admin team added and shared with VMS admins to do some checks based on some things that I noticed when I was doing our last quarterly report for our grant. And so newsletter went out about that, and then just basically the same update information that you see here in this slide, or some other these slides about VMS was what was covered in that message also. And just a reminder for those of you, because we are expecting some different processes and new training with the VMS upgrade, we have put a moratorium on admin training at the local, new admin training at the local level. So the training that our VMS team helped provide through the help desk, we do have a moratorium on that training right now, just because we're expecting the update to happen pretty soon. and we don't want to train any new admins on the old way of the process. We want to be able to train new admins on the new way of the process because it's going to be changing anytime soon here. So I just don't have a date. Um, so the important item is if you have an admin that you've lost unexpectedly, or you need to train an admin to take up some slack in some things that haven't been working well at the local level with your current admin, we do have what we're calling emergency training. If you could just put in a help desk ticket, we at the TMN VMS help desk, and we can set up a time to do an emergency training with someone where it's needed. But other than that, we do not have any regularly scheduled admin trainings as we've had in the past.
Michelle, there's a question in the chat. The quarterly newsletter that you mentioned that went out to all VMS admins, was that to full access admins or to read only access admins?
It would be full access admins. So the true like VMS admins at your local chapter level. So the read-onlys, they don't have the same capabilities as the full access admins. So the newsletter did go to the full access admins.
Okay, thank you.
And then just improving reporting. This is the same slide that I've kind of had in here in the last 3 months, for the last 3 or 4 months now. And just a reminder, if as a chapter and chapter leaders, if you could help improve the information that is reported by your members. So one of the places where I saw just no details or no information is members would put in information about attending a monthly meeting, and they may have added it as advanced training, or it may have been added as chapter meeting, and in a lot of cases they were miscategorized. So as chapter leaders, if you could help your members with reporting, let's say when you have, to give an example, if you have a chapter meeting that also includes advanced training, if you could let your attendees know how much time should be reported as chapter meeting and how much of that time should be reported as advanced training for that event, if it's kind of like those two things in one date. So just help give your members some direction in that regard. Okay.
Okay, some more chapter resources at the state level. Our AgriLife Learn store, as always, has shirts, hats, polos, patches, jackets as we get into the winter month. So please make sure that you're sharing that resource with your chapter members. Our TMN license plate is also available for purchase. It's linked on our website for both the personalized and the non-personalized. For our chapter presidents, I have been reporting to you guys our quarterly sales reports that we get from the state for our license plates. Since the beginning, we are at 719 as of Q3 of 2024. I just got the updated report this morning. So I'm glad it came in today so that I could give that update to y'all. But we are at 719 plates sold. Once we reach 800, we get our initial deposit back, which is a great kind of milestone marker for our plate sales. So we're almost there. Encourage your new members to check out our TMN license plates. I am looking forward to getting new pictures. We've had this same set of pictures on this slide since October of last year. I want to get a new set of pictures at the annual meeting this year with all the license plates that we'll see there in San Marcos. And then our TMN endowment, as mentioned, is a great way to share your additional support with the Master Nationals program for the long-term sustainability of the program. This is a great way to provide individual or corporate matches, gift chapter matches, employer gift matching, estate planning, or memorials, as one was sent out recently for Mr. Jim Stanley. Michelle made a donation in his name for the TMN endowment. So greatly appreciate those that are continuing to support the Master Naturalist Endowment through their gift giving. And then last but not least, as we're closing out our final kind of this format of chapter presidents meeting, remember at the very beginning of today's meeting, I talked about that this is our last kind of formal gathering of just this group. The next one is in person at the conference with a variety of in-person and hybrid setup. And then we have TMN Tuesdays after that. So please, as you are thinking of transitioning your position from chapter president to another member in your chapter, if you're at term, please work through your end of the year succession planning early with your chapter leadership team. Think through what you are wanting to do, how you're wanting to do it, following those processes that are outlined in our bylaws and our CMOP for that transition. And encourage your incoming chapter presidents, if you have new presidents replacing yourself, to attend the annual meetings, president's meeting in October. Have them check out some of these recordings of previous presidents' meetings so that they know what to expect when they're invited to their first presidents and advisors meeting in January next year. Help encourage them to think through planning their board retreats early in the new year, getting those things on the calendar now. And then last but not least, to help us make sure that we have the best email list of communications. When you do have that new person ready to transition, please in December, please don't forget to update your VMS leadership list. That you can do that through the directors list. In the VMS screenshot as it stands right now, you do TMN officers and committees, and updating that officer list for historical purposes. Please make sure that you are adding that previous position to the leadership service and history. So if you are the current president transitioning out, please make sure that you write President 2024 in your history box so that we know that that's when you served as your chapter leader in that year. And then update the rest of these officer lists and director lists on your VMS. Wait until December, but that's when, once you have your updated list, you should do that. Okay, and we are wrapping up here, but our calendar check for the last couple of things, we've put a bunch of dates out there for you guys, but we have some end of September deadlines with milestone reports, chapter memorial and photo show, our curriculum book order, our project fair is coming up, registration is closing. A lot's about to happen within the next 2 weeks so that we can be ready for y'all attending the TMN annual meeting in 30 days from today. Okay. I think that's everything. We might not have a whole lot of time for questions, but really appreciate it and can't wait to see you guys at the conference.
Asked if we could go back to that Slack slide with the QR code.
Yes. I'm going to make a couple of quick keyboard clicks. There we are. Okay. If there's no other questions, y'all, thank you so much. You can have the next 10 minutes back. And I look forward to seeing you guys here shortly. Oh, I do see a question. Rebecca's asking about recruiting a treasurer for her chapter. Is there any suggestions or advice given from some members online? Beg. Beverly, to answer your question while folks are typing in advice, hopefully for Rebecca, Beverly asked about the connection for a virtual conference for the president's meeting. In October, I need to finish setting that up with the hotel, verifying that that's possible. As soon as I have that, I will send that out to the president's list. So tentative with a high probability and more details coming soon. There you go. Rebecca, looks like you're getting some great advice from the chat. All right. Y'all have a great afternoon.